Back here in Nigeria, where this week joined the global community to mark the 14th Global Accessibility Awareness Day, a day dedicated to promoting digital access and inclusion for over 1 billion people with disabilities worldwide. In Nigeria, where an estimated 29 million people live with disabilities, the day highlighted the urgent need for accessible digital infrastructure to bridge gaps in education, employment, and healthcare. Local advocates and organizations emphasized inclusive design in public services. The advocacy showcased efforts to build ramp-fitted boreholes, ensuring access to clean water for people with disabilities. Despite progress made, challenges persist across the nation. Many Nigerian websites and mobile apps lack compatibility with assistive technologies like screen readers, limiting access for visually impaired users. Inaccessible public infrastructure further compounds these barriers, with roads and buildings often excluding those with mobility challenges. Now for a deeper conversation about the 2025 Global Accessibility Awareness Day, which particularly raises awareness for the people with disabilities, the Chief Executive Officer, Corporate Inclusion Limited, Kolawole Jayeoba, now joins us. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you. How are you doing?
Good to have you on the show. Now let's talk about this World Global Accessibility Day, which was celebrated on Thursday. What are the major challenges or barriers that people living with disabilities face when it comes to accessibility to digital platforms here in Nigeria?
Thank you so much. It's important for Nigerians as well to join the global move, which we are talking about the Global Accessibility Awareness Day 2025. And this has been celebrated for the last 14 years, but it's unfortunate that not much has been known about even the day or the week about the accessibility. Nigeria has taken a little step to enact the disability law, but not much has been done when it comes to digital accessibility, knowing fully that the world is moving speedily toward digital. Everything is going digital, shopping, digital, learning, digital, and then also interacting with people, digital. But not much has been done as regards digital accessibility. So it's important for us to create the awareness, to get everybody talking about it, to get everybody learning about digital accessibility, because the world is moving very fast into that for persons with disability. And like you said in the introduction as well, 29 million people who are persons with disability in Nigeria. That's a lot. That's a lot. This is a number that we cannot just let go. That's over 1 billion globally, over 1 billion persons with disability globally, and Nigeria, 29 million, that's a lot. So we cannot cut off the 29 million people when it comes to digital accessibility. They need to be taken along with whatever is happening, changes that are happening within the society. They need to also be carried along as much as it is possible. So there is a need to create the awareness, to let everybody know about the global accessibility awareness, and also the digital accessibility. Everybody should know about it. The tech guy should know about digital accessibility. The organization, the corporate organization should know about digital accessibility. So when they are doing anything, when they are planning for any infrastructure, they are thinking inclusion. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
So how can developers and designers move to ensure that all of these barriers are taken away? Because, of course, the theme for these years, 14th year for the Global Accessibility Awareness Day, is committing to change. What are the measures that can be put in place to show that we are really committed to change and ensure that all of these people with disabilities are not excluded when it comes to digital accessibility?
Thank you so much. What we can do, number one, which is more important, is that disability inclusion is everyone's business. we shouldn't have the discussion of disability inclusion left with person with disability alone. Yes, if it's only person with disability creating the awareness, talking about it, there will be limited force, there will be limited attention to that. So everybody must be informed about it. Everybody must come to table to learn, to know, and to talk about digital accessibility, to talk about accessibility generally as well. And so persons with disabilities in their different communities, they have done a little they could do, but the voice haven't so much been heard. It hasn't so much been heard, and because this is the community where I've participated in the last 15 years, and there not much has been done when it talks to digital accessibility. So what we need to do now, I think everyone who are involved in one thing or the other that has to do with digital must begin to think about digital accessibility, must think about accessibility. And if they don't know what it means to have an inclusion, they should reach out to people who know what it means to have an inclusion. They should reach out to corporate inclusion limited to tell us and say, this is what we're about to do, this is what we're about to set up, how can we bring in inclusion on this platform? Because when we talked about tech, there are people who are fully into tech, who are developers, who are developing apps and all of that. They must also involve people who are experts in inclusion, so that from the scratch, from the development, you're already thinking of the person with disability, you're already thinking of the visually impaired, you're already thinking of the hearing impaired, or any form of disability that the person is having, you're already including it into whatever you are building from the scratch. Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about, since we're talking about awareness, let's look at both sides of the divide, talking about the people who are excluded, people with disabilities, and then also those who are also supposed to be involved in educating these people. What role do you think education could play in bringing these people into that circle? And also, how do you think that these people who are excluded can come in, especially how can they be enlightened to ensure that they know what to do, even when these tools and features are put on these platforms, the digital platforms? There's also the need to educate them, to show them what to do so that they are not excluded.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's where Corporate Inclusion Limited also comes in. We talked to corporate organization, individual who actually developing one thing or the other, so let them know, or they are doing anything that has to do with the life of the general public, the society. We look at the components that has to do with the inclusion of person with disability in this area. And also, when it comes to education, it's very key, which we have advocated for this. We're saying that also the education should be inclusive. Education should be inclusive. The curriculum should reflect a component of disability. So if person who is into tech, who is in the digital world and all of that, and then he has never heard about disability, he doesn't know about the need of a person with visually impaired, he doesn't know the need of a person with hearing impaired, he doesn't know the need of any form of disability. So even in his thinking, he is not inclusive. His thinking is not inclusive. So his creativity is going to be for a person without disability. So, but if education, right from the curriculum, is already included about person with disability. So even if I've not met with person with disability, I will have read about person with disability. I will have known about inclusion and all of that. This will go a long way to create the awareness. But also, every other person within the society who are also having one platform or the other should keep talking about disability inclusion. We should create awareness about disability inclusion. And not only to create awareness about disability inclusion, the corporate organization should take a major step to inclusion. They should take major step to inclusion, video. All your video must come with tests. All your, whatever any gadget you have must come with an instruction that are inclusive. So beyond just serving the society you are serving is also, it must be inclusive. it must include person with disability. So what we need to do, like what we are doing at Corporate Inclusion Limited, is to make sure that no corporate organization, no individual who have an organization who are serving the public that are cutting off person with disability at all. So that's what we are doing. So we will partner with as many organizations who are also ready to partner with us to create the awareness and all of that. The person with disability organization, the JONAPID, and many other NGOs have done the little they can do, but their voices and the momentum is very, very low because, you know, the power of number is very key. There's what is called numeric power. If the numeric power is small, it will not reach so much. It will not reach so much. So there is a need for everybody to join hands together and create awareness about accessibility.
All right, let's talk more about some of these assistive technologies and the accessibility measures or platforms that you think should be in place. And, you know, I want us to be practical here so that, you know, everyone can understand perfectly what we're talking about. What are some examples of these assistive technologies that can be put in place? For instance, I remember during elections, INEC usually provides brailles for those who are visually impaired to carry out, you know, their franchise. What are some of these examples we're talking about here?
Yeah, assistive technology, there are a lot in number of assistive technology that actually help a person with disability to be able to interact and participate within the society very well. We have magnified glasses that actually help a person with low vision, maybe a person with albinism, to be able to interact with whatever is written down on a paper. And then we also have some application already that if you put it on your phone, if the phone is ringing, it will be dictating or telling you the name or the number that are actually calling you. These are some of the assistive technology that have been put in place. Then your website as well too must also have the assistive technology as well too, so that if anybody is going to your website and if it's a visually impaired person, as well as the person is entering into the website, if there is a communication that also help the person to navigate and find his way around the website. Even when you enter into lifts, the lift itself also have assistive technology. It might not be it's not all the lifts that also have that. Every lift normally should have that assistive technology that as soon as you enter, it communicates to you, it tells you what to do and all of that, so that a person with visual impairment can go into that building without being headed, without being supported and all of that. Even in the lift itself, we also have the numbers that are also written in Braille, so that person who is visually impaired can use his hand to trace the Braille and interact and then connect to whatever place that the person is going. So assistive technology is very key to help the person with disability to interact more within the society. Some people are also using some hearing aid that they put in their ear that also enable them to maybe possibly hear better. So it depends on the severity of the hearing impairment. Okay, some assistive technology that you put in your ear, it just make you to hear sound. In case the vehicle is coming, in case the noise is coming, not that they hear completely and all of that. So this assistive technology have gone a lot way to help person with disability within the society. But amazingly, not all person with disability could afford them. Exactly. We can't afford them because most of them are very, very expensive. They are very expensive. And before an assistive technology are used, most of the time a medical support take place first. We want to ascertain the level of the severity. We want to ascertain what actually assistive technology the person will be needing. So to carry out the medical, then to now get the assistive technology, it's very expensive. We always say this, that living with disability is an expensive journey. That's just the truth. Thank you.
Indeed, and we want to reduce the expenses and all of the consequences and the issues they have to deal with as much as possible by providing access as much as possible. Thank you so much for your time on the show, Kolawole Jayeoba, Kolawole Jayeoba is Chief Executive Officer, Corporate Inclusion Limited, and we've been talking about Global Accessibility Awareness Day. Thank you for your time.